Hello, so we're here with the Houston Asian American Archive. Today is November 22nd and 2019. My name is Christina Lee.
And my name is Tintin He.
And we are interviewing
Your name is Christine?
Christina.
Christina, your name?
甜甜
Say it again.
Christina?
Her name?
甜甜
Tian Tian?
Yeah.
Wow. Tian Tian or Tian Tian? The sky is
like
Tian.
the-
Tian is sweet. Tian Tian or Tian Tian?
The field.
Field 田
Oh, the
field
Tian
Yeah.
Di.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a Tian.
Yeah.
Tian Tian. Okay.
And we're here interviewing Huan Chu. First, can you write out your Chinese name for us?
Oh, of course. I hope I still remember. You want me? Okay. That's a Fei Kunhua.
Oh.
My name.
What does it mean?
Fei is my last name.
Okay.
Kunhua is my first name.
Mm-hmm.
So my name is Fei Kunhua. If speak the Mandarin,
Mm-hmm.
my name is Fei Kunhua. As the student and as the high school teacher, I am Fei Lao Si.
Does your name have any other meaning?
Huh?
Does your name have any other meaning?
No. That's just my name. That's
Okay.
it. Nothing else.
does it mean 有没有什么意思？
For the name wise, there is no Fei is just the last name. Fei Kunhua, that's just the name.
Okay.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
Just like different from my husband's last name is Chu. My name, maiden name, last name is Fei. That's it.
Thank you. So we're going to start off with questions kind of about your background. So first, where and when were you born?
Now, where I was born,
Mm-hmm.
that in Kansu, China. I am Changzhou人, that's Wujing. Kansu, province name Kansu,
Okay.
okay?
It's actually Jiangsu these days. Jiangsu.
江苏,
Jiangsu. Yeah.
我是江苏武进，就是常州
Okay.
the same thing.
And what did your parents do?
Well, my father, he was a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
teaching the Chinese in other city. We were living in Changzhou, but my father went to Wuxi as the school teacher teaching the Chinese.
And your mother?
My mother, just a housewife,
Okay.
didn't do anything special.
Did you have any siblings?
Huh?
Did you have any siblings?
Oh, yes. I have an older sister and I have a younger sister.
And what are their names?
My older sister's name, the last name is still Tang Yingzhou. And my younger sister now is living in Taiwan. That's阿姨's name is
唐新华。
我是
唐新华。
我是唐新华，不是阿姨是。
那你是唐，你是他是
My last,
你是唐坤华。
my sister is Tang Xinhua because before that I was last name Tang, but adopted by my aunt, so I changed it from Tang to Fei.
And do you know how your parents met?
Oh, that's a good question. I only know my my father is teaching in Wuxi, and our home is in Changzhou, and my mother actually is a housewife, didn't do anything special.
Do you remember things that your family would do together when you were young?
My father has 2 sisters, and they were living with us but they both, one married to a husband using yapie, so came back from marriage, come back to stay with us. The
Opium.
other sister, her husband passed away, so she has a son. So finally they all live with my father and the family together.
I think your daughter wrote about you, and something that we saw was that your father was an alcoholic.
Yes, he drank in the morning wine, dinner wine, lunch wine, dinner wine. So my mother bought a big urn for the liquor, dug a hole underground, bury all the alcohol in there. So he didn't have to drink outside, and then kind of drunk out on the street. People carry him back home. So in that case, my father would drink morning alcohol, lunch alcohol, dinner alcohol, and even he was drunk at home. Didn't have to be carried out from outside. They carried him off, otherwise he would lie down on the street drunk, get drunk.
Did people talk about that, and how did it affect your family?
But actually my family in Chinese is a pretty kind of, sort of outstanding family.
So did your neighbors kind of talk about it, or did they just understand?
Oh, I don't remember any neighbors' name. The only, anyway, my father actually, he has one wife in other city, and my father was teaching at the other city. And then my mother was in Changzhou. The other one is in, it's not Changzhou, the other, Wuxi, that's another city. My father went to Wuxi every week, only weekend come back to Changzhou. Actually, I was born as twins. But when 13 years old, I have a brother and me, supposed to be the twins. Maybe in reality, I know it. Actually, my brother is really twins to me or not. I doubt it.
Why do you think that he's not your brother or your twin brother?
Oh, because at that time, we only have girls in the family. We needed a boy. So when I was born, and they got the boy, so we are twins. Okay?
So where do you think that they got the boy?
Huh?
Where do you think they got the boy?
Where did this boy come from?
That's my latest kind of explanation for it. Actually, I didn't know anything about that. Namely, they said that we were born as twins. But in reality, the other boy, I don't know where that boy came from. no idea. But they claim we are twins, one boy and one girl.
So you also talked about how you were adopted.
Oh, I was adopted by my aunt because I have an older sister and me a younger sister. And the twin brother, when he was 13 years old, unfortunately got the
Typhoid fever.
died of
Typhoid fever, I think.
yeah.
Typhoid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you were adopted by your aunt, what was your life like?
Before my last name was Tang, and then adopted my aunt, I changed from Tang to Fei.
Mm.
I think that year, I was, I think at that time I'm 7 years old or something. Changed from Tang to Fei because adopted by my aunt.
I think we should move.
Okay. So we are going to alternate asking questions
Okay.
of different sections. So I'll just start on your life after you were adopted. So how did your parents first tell you that you were going to be adopted?
First of all, even I was adopted by Fei's family, only my aunt, because the husband of aunt died a long time ago. I think they claim has born with a boy after the husband died or something. I'm not just everybody kind of talking about someone, but nobody can prove anything. They claim that we are the twins.
Wait, that's the other brother, though.
Oh, that's the only brother I have.
I know, but the brother that your aunt who adopted you, I'm sorry, she had a son also.
But she has a son too.
So how did you first find out that you would be adopted to your aunt's family?
Oh, I think because the aunt only has one boy. I am a girl. That's why. And among I have an older sister and the younger thing. And then my aunt didn't have a girl. Actually, when she picked me up as adopted by her, in her mind, to be future wife of her son, but in reality, it didn't happen that way.
So how did you feel about going to live with your aunt?
Oh, they are living in our house. My two aunts, the older one and the younger one, they all live with us because my older aunt husband was a 鸦片 user. So right after married, she came back to stay with us. The other aunt, she was kind of self-educated, become teacher, teaching as the junior high school or something, or elementary school teacher. So in reality, two aunts, one is because the husband using the 鸦片, so came back. The other aunt, because her husband passed away, so come back to live with us too. And even with her son, they all live together with my father.
Okay. So you were all in one house?
Right.
Oh, I see.
We were all living together. Right.
Okay. So were you still able to talk to your original parents?
Yes. We were, because the aunts, the two aunts live with us in the same house.
Okay.
I just wanted to add that, I think I wrote it, that her aunt, though, did not allow my mother to call her own mother, real mother, Ma anymore.
Yeah. At that time, I have to, because adopted me, so my name, last name changed from Tang to Fei. So therefore, the aunt becomes my mother. So I cannot claim my own mother anymore, because my own mother still, last name is Tang. Like me, I already changed from Tang to Fei.
So were you angry about that?
Oh, when I was little, what can I do?
Oh.
And I also we live in the same house, just different rooms.
Yeah. Okay. So how did your life change after you were adopted?
That's a good question. We still live in the same house. It doesn't make any difference either. My last name is Fei or my last name is Tang. Doesn't, because my mother, my father has several wives. The other wife, they didn't give any children until they have my mother. They have the children. And those two are the one aunt's husband was opium user, so come back to stay with her. The other aunt, the husband passed away, so she came back to live with us too. She has a son.
Okay. And so I think your biography said that you got along with the son. Did you get along with that son?
Oh, we were in the same house anyway, it doesn't make any difference.
So did your parents explain why you were being adopted? Did your parents explain why you were being adopted?
My parents, I don't know any of the question.
Oh.
Did they try to talk to you about why you were being adopted?
Yeah. Oh, because they don't have a girl, so adopt. And among the, we have an older sister and a younger sister.
But Mother, did you tell me one time, I'm sorry, that your father was playing mahjong and he lost the money?
No.
No, wasn't that the reason he owed her?
Because he was drunk.
He gave her away when he was drunk.
Right. Drinking alcohol all the time. Sometimes drunk out and lying down the street, people will carry him home. So my mother later on at the yard.
已经讲过了，
Okay.
Okay, so did you start going to school around that age, around 7?
When did you start going to school?
Which school? High school, kindergarten?
The first.
No, just elementary school or
Yeah.
something?
Elementary school.
Yeah. I think it was elementary school and the first, second year of junior high school, I was still in Changzhou. And then because my last name changes from Tang to Fei, and the Fei's family, my brother, moved from that place to Sichuan, Chongqing. So because my last name is Fei, so I also went to Chongqing to stay with my mother and my brother, and my aunt becomes my mother because I was changing from last name Tang to Fei. Because, yeah, that's it. That, no.
Do you remember any like really significant memories from elementary school?
Oh, elementary school. That's very simple. And because both my adoptive mother, she was an elementary school teacher too. So,
Did you enjoy studying?
oh, that's a good question. That when I was in junior school or something in the class, I wasn't really listening to the teacher. This is the podium for the teacher. The teacher was writing something on the blackboard, and I was the first row of students. I was in the middle. When the teacher was writing, well, I just stand up behind the podium, make faces to all the rest of the students. Very naughty one.
So you were distracting them.
But anyway, so because my last name changed from Tang to Fei, so we have to buy, when it's new, for the year, it will buy new textbooks. Unfortunately, I bought one wrong one, so I wanted to buy a right one, but my adopted mother wouldn't let me. So you know what? When the classes started about the testing, everybody is standing outside and read the book. I stick it out of my neck, reading other people's. Because my adopted mother wouldn't let me get a new one. So I already paid for it. I'm not going to pay you for that again.
So what did you enjoy doing in your free time
You mean now?
as a child?
As a child? When I was a child, I don't really remember. What did I do when I was that young? I have no memory of
Okay.
it.
So this is kind of a strange question, but who do you consider your real family?
We all live together, no matter name-wise. I am other people's daughter or my own mother's daughter. Actually, living in the same home.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, after my changing the name from Tang to Fei, the aunt wouldn't let me talk to my own mother because supposedly my last name is Fei, not Tang anymore. But we actually live in the same house.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just, the traditional Chinese house is a courtyard house, it's a complex. So it's not like one house, it's like a different part of a complex. So they were
Yeah.
not right on top of each
Yeah.
other.
Okay.
There is a kind of in between patio or something.
Mm-hmm.
Separated. Not actually that the whole house is the whole family, but both of my aunts live with us.
Mm-hmm.
My father was, the home was in Changzhou, but he was teaching the Chinese at Wuxi, the other city. Only on weekend, my father will come back home.
Okay. And then, so your biography also referenced the Japanese invasion, which made you and your aunt flee to Hong Kong.
Yeah, all because in that case, because my last changed from Tang, so my aunt 是 son was working for 外交部
A diplomatic corps.
Yeah, so they all moved to Chongqing, Sichuan, Chongqing.
Mm-hmm.
So otherwise, I was left behind. And my aunt, when she was in Hong Kong, suddenly think about my last is Fei. So she came back to get me to go with her, go to Chongqing. That's how, after that, from Chongqing, then we went to the junior high, senior high. Then we have the whole, when it graduated from high school, we have kind of 4 universities all together get the new student. Then I was admitted by Checkang University. Then I went to Checkang University. But my aunt says, the girl didn't need to go to the more, as long as I graduated from high school. But because I was accepted by Checkang University, so my best friend, they donated money to me as the expense for me to move from one place. Then anyway, so we finally get to Checkang University because the first year in Guizhou or something. Then from there, so I went to Checkang University.
So you talked about your friends who gave you money so you could go to college.
Right, they helped me out.
Mm-hmm. Did they go to?
Then after I got the money, I stick in between that I have living on the cot, and there is the cot 那个有个坐垫 you know,
Mattress, like a mattress.
under the mattress. I hid the money under the mattress. But my face, the brother, he was looking for something. Then found out under the mattress I have the money. Where did you get the money? Then I said, my friend gave it to me so I can go to Checkang University. Because my adopted mother think the girl high school to graduate is enough. You don't have to go to the university. But I accepted Checkang University. I wanted to go. So my friend gave me money.
And then your brother said he gave you the money and you gave the money back to your friends, right?
Right. Then my brother was looking for something, found out, where did you get such money? I said, my friend gave it to me so I can go to Checkang University. Because my aunt says, high school graduate, that's enough. You don't need to go to the university. That's how I got to the Checkang University as a student.
Why did you want to go to university?
Huh?
Why did you want to go to university?
Because I need more education. Otherwise, only high school graduate student, what can you living by your life? So anyway, so I because of we have a worldwide 4 universities have an examination, so I was admitted by Checkang University. So I collected the money from my friend as a
Also, I just wanted to add that once she got there, she didn't have money for a lot of things like personal items, and so her friends all kind of helped her out.
yeah.
So these were your friends from university or friends from high school?
That, let's see. I think that's from the university.
And were you the only girl, like, at the university? Were there a lot of other girls?
That I don't know what the question is about.
Let me just say that what I know is that of the 40 chemical engineering majors, there were 3 girls all told. There were 2 other girls who stuck to each other, so she was left out. You remember you told me about the 2 girls. They would look at your test scores thinking that,
Oh, yeah.
because they helped each other study, and then my mother scored 100, and they were like shocked that she did so well.
We have 3 girls at the chemical engineering, you know. And then after the test or something, because we have each has 1 slot, but there is no door, just open. You can put things in there or out there. So after the test, I put the professor will return your paper to see how many points you got. I got 100, so put it in my slot. Those other 2 girls, they are good friends, doing everything together. Only 3 of girl chemical engineer student. Those 2 are just like 1 person, and except me, I'm all by myself. So after the test, the professor will return the paper to you. So there are like each has a slot without a window, okay, just open. So after the test, I return the paper to my slot, and then those 2 girls always work homework together, doing everything together. Me only by myself. After I was walk out, they check out my slot, found out my paper, returned them with 100 mark on it. That was the first few years in Chekan University.
Why did you want to study chemical engineering?
Actually, originally I wanted the physics majoring, because that teacher was so good in high school. Unfortunately, that teacher passed away. So originally I wanted to be with that teacher, but he passed away. So I changed it from physics to chemistry.
Was there a war during your time at college?
In the college, I think that was the 3rd year of college that the war started. They said 10万青年10万军. At that time, hopes all the students to become the soldiers. 10 万, 100,000 students become 10,000 soldiers. 叫10万青年10万军, encouraging the students to become the soldiers. So at that time, I think that's the 3rd year of my college. So we have called, at that time, because we have called 战地服务团, for college student. We have originally has 60 students to follow the army to fighting with them. The originally supposed to have 60 students. Finally, they only accept 10 of them. I was one of them. I was one of them become 战地服务团. This is serve the people in fighting. So we were like entertainment to play the 话剧, play for them and see.
话剧 is doing plays, perform plays.
And teaching soldiers to sing, write a letter for the soldiers, doing that kind of thing.
So you stopped going to school?
Right, at that year. That's the 3rd year of my college. Then afterwards, they said, you don't have, went back to Chekan University at Hangzhou, and they said, you can go take the last year of college. So for the third year, you don't have to do it. I said I come here just to learn something, not because of a piece of paper. I have to start with the third year and then fourth year. So my college graduation 1 year later than other people, because I was signed for the 战地服务团. We served that.
Was that not dangerous?
At the first, that's good because we have 10 people, 10 college students with the 军长，大家讲1934的军长叫做
The 193 was like the battalion, like that bunch. She went with that bunch wherever they went. She marched along with the soldiers by foot.
肖仲光，他的 head of 的这个军长叫肖仲光。
Okay.
We were following him.
Yeah. So
We
there was like
signed
the
with
leader of
them.
that one battalion. You followed the battalion number 193 wherever they went. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that 军长，that 军长是那个 called 肖仲光。I remember that. I stay with that whole army. I walk with them every day, so many miles until finally we stuck both my foot, hardly could even touch the ground. Every day walk, how many miles each day walk with the soldiers. And also there are injured soldiers. They have toes frozen or something. But each day I think we have 100 miles to walk until we got somewhere stopped by both of my feet couldn't touch the ground anymore. So I have to put in the hot water for a long time. So that was something during the World War II. I still remember we have 10 students follow that 1934
193.
193
Yeah.
那个军队是1934的师长。The last name is 叫做肖仲光。I can remember his name.
So I just found out this morning that meanwhile, my father, who was also a chemical engineering major at the same university, he volunteered to learn to be an English-Chinese translator. He was stationed in Yunnan, where it's known for its ham, smoked ham. He was so sick of eating smoked ham by the end. And by the time that he finished his training, the war was over. So he was living it up, eating ham, while she was out there.
My husband was lucky. 他 finally tired of 云南火腿。
Yeah, Yunnan Huotui, yeah.
How did you meet your husband?
Because we were in same chemical engineering class, we 3 girls sit he was sitting right behind me.
Ah.
Well, 40 students chemical engineering, and we have 3 girls sitting in front. And those 2 girls, they are doing everything together, even homework they're doing together. Me only by myself.
So were you guys friends at first?
Huh?
Were you friends at first? You and your husband, did you become friends?
That's a good question. I think that even before, I can't remember.
Well, one thing, if I may, is that she told us a story a long time ago when they would go out on, quote, dates, and he would walk in front of her, she's walking behind, and he wouldn't even talk to her. And she finally said, if you're not going to even talk to me, we're not dating anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that time, her father didn't say anything. I was singing all the time. And then he keeps walking ahead of me, so I was hiding behind the stone to see if he discovered
You didn't even notice.
I'm not with him because he kept walking, and I was hiding there to see before how long he will discover I was disappeared. Then finally, I waited too long. I think I better catch him. Otherwise, I don't know where I will get lost.
Yeah.
And the other piece that we were talking about this morning, after the war was over, she went back to her home and he went back to his home. And then they were still communicating during that time, but all of a sudden he stopped writing to her and she was wondering what happened. He came down with tuberculosis and he didn't want to make her, he wanted to avoid having her be sad, so he just stopped writing. But she was determined to find out what happened, so she took this long boat ride for hours. There's no
7
bathroom.
hours without
7 hours
go to bathroom.
without a bathroom, and she was determined to find. She went to his hometown, which you can only get to by boat. She remembered that his father worked as an accountant in a pawn shop. She got there, and she asked where the pawn shop was. She found the father, and then found him to find out, why did you stop writing? This is
I chased him over there. Then he told me, I don't want to give you the TB.
Yeah. So how did you end up getting married? What year did you get married?
Oh, that was after we all graduated from Chicago University, the chemical engineering. That I was teaching as an assistant at the Chicago University.
Oh, wow.
For the chemical engineering. And he was working for the Chinese Petroleum Company. So then
in Thailand.
after the 6 years of practicing, then he came back from Chinese Petroleum Company, come to see me. Then
6 months. 6 months. Yeah.
then I was still the teaching assistant at the Chicago University. But anyway, in between we got married.
So like 1948.
Right.
So your husband worked for this oil company, petroleum company.
Chinese Petroleum Company.
But I think it said in your biography they didn't hire you because you were a woman.
Oh, at that time, after anyway, we have five or six students. To I don't know to whom, but anyway, to see if they can find a job for us or something. But there are 5 people. Because I am a girl, even my grade is the first. 1, 2, 3, 4. My husband, of course, he was the first. I was the 5th. So, but anyway. So finally, we were accepted the job by the Chinese Petroleum Company. But the question is, there is one guy, I know he was much lower grade than me and others. But they think I'm a girl. Then they didn't accept me to become the engineer for the petroleum company. So finally, I become the high school teacher.
Were you angry that you couldn't work at that company because you were a woman?
Oh, whom can you protest to? There is no way you can, no way to find out. They put into the list with the five graduates. One was but among all those 4-day students, that person, a guy, I think he was from bottom up 5th of them. That means not very high grade. And because I'm a girl, they wouldn't accept me. So therefore, I didn't do the chemical engineer work and finally ended up as a high school teacher. I teaching the 高雄是for the senior high school as a chemistry teacher.
So, what was your dream job once you graduated from college?
Actually, but somehow I was working on the computer software, computer programmer. So lately I was working for Signal Oil, the gas company.
Yeah, that was much later. That was.
Yeah, but anyway, so I was working as a programmer, computer programmer.
So I think she wanted to know, when you finished college, was working as an engineer your dream job? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
No, after that, I was 1 year as the teaching assistant
I know,
at
but
Chicago
did you want to be an
University.
engineer? You wanted to be an engineer.
Right. I was working on the platform for the oil
Yeah,
production.
later on, yeah, later on. She did finally do it, yeah.
Then after I got so I have the helicopter. I ride a helicopter to the platform. I was writing program for it.
Your biography also talks about how your husband and you ended up in Taiwan later, and then you couldn't talk to your aunt or your adopted mother.
I don't know the question.
The question is, what happened that you could not talk to your old family again?
If I can just explain.
Yes.
Okay, when I wrote that, it was when she was still living in the compound with her adopted mother. Her adopted mother forbade her to talk to her mother.
Oh.
Okay. When they moved to Taiwan, the communists took over. The Iron Curtain came down. There was no further communication, period, at all. So that's
That's
it. That was
That's
it.
the end of it.
And then after you lived in Taiwan, you moved to the United States?
Okay. Oh, that year, I was still teaching assistant at the Chicago University. And my husband working for the petroleum company half a year. Then he came back to the Hangzhou, and then we got we don't have an engagement. We just at that time we got married. At that time I was a chemical engineering teaching assistant for a year. And my husband came back from petroleum company, working with for half a year. So he can come back to Hangzhou to see me. So we then get married.
Oh, so I'm gonna start asking about how you immigrated to America. So your husband immigrated to Wisconsin, right?
When we got married, we have let's see. When Harriet was 4 years old.
I was 6. I was
6 years
no,
old.
what?
Then your爸 went to Wisconsin to get the PhD degree. Remember that
I
one?
think I was about 3 because I have no memory of him.
Right.
Yeah.
You were
I was too
very little.
I was too little to remember.
With 3 kids, my husband went to Wisconsin to get the PhD.
Okay, so why did he decide to do that?
Huh?
Why did he decide to go to the U.S. to study?
Oh, actually, the year before he went to Wisconsin, 1 year because of something. 那个叫做农福会 or something. And one Chicago University, the Chicago University student went to Wisconsin to get the degree. Then my husband just followed that footstep.
Okay.
Also went to Wisconsin to get even with 3 kids at home. So
Okay, so how old were all 3 kids at the time?
at that time, Harriet was no, David was 6.
No, what's the question? How old were?
How old were you and your siblings when your dad moved to Wisconsin?
Oh, I was, as I said, I was very young, 2 or 3. So my brother was 6 years older. My sister was 4 years older.
Okay.
Okay.
At that time, I was a high school teacher, teaching chemistry. That's called 省立高雄中学.
When did you move to the States, the United States?
1961.
And where was the first place in America that you
Oh,
came?
that was because my husband got the PhD degree hired by
Sinclair.
Sinclair. Then we all came to United States in 1961.
Did you know how to speak English?
At that time, all I have is, when I was in high school, there is an English class. You know, when that class teacher teachings, when the teacher was teaching us English, I was counting how many baskets that guy played basketball. I didn't listen to him. But actually, that teacher's English is, fortunately, I didn't learn from him. I was counting the basketball, the people play basketball over there. That English teacher, I don't think that's really English, that's Chinese English. And you know what? When he was writing something on the blackboard, this is 3 places. I was sitting in the middle. Then I jumped behind the podium, make faces to the student while he was writing on the blackboard. Very naughty student.
So you didn't know too much English?
At that time, English, that's why my English, in the first place, you know, the teacher was sitting, I was counting baskets for the other. How can I learn something about the English? So when I come to United States, I just write it down. I want to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. I write that because when I say it, people wouldn't understand what I'm talking about. Then I just say, I want to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's all I can do.
Yeah. So were you excited about coming to America?
Oh yeah, first come to America, then I will go to school again. I want to get my master's degree. So in the meantime, I had to learn how to wash the clothes. And you know what? My maid usually wash the clothes, use starch for the clothes. The clothes can standing on the floor. Then later on that girl didn't work for me. So I have to do everything myself to learn how to use the iron to iron the clothes or something.
I remember in Tulsa, she even brought a washboard with her. She used to actually use a wooden washboard with a bar of soap to wash the clothes. And then she would starch the sheets, the bed sheets. When we get into bed, it's like that. Because she didn't know. She knew nothing about housework.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
But in the meantime, I go to Tulsa University to take classes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to get my, at least got some master degree or something. But then my husband said, he wanted to be teaching us. Then said, okay, if you want to become the professor, and I let you do it 3 years. If you still want that job, so we stay there. Then you know what? he first promised 3 years, and then 4th year is supposedly get something like promoted from something to something. But because he thought to be professor, you don't have to socialize with anyone. So he was every Saturday and Sunday sitting in the classroom, help a student out. And the dean of the chemical engineering didn't know who he was. He never know. He said, become the professor, you don't have to social with anybody. So therefore, the other guy was constantly in front of the head of the chemical engineering, got promoted, but not him. He was so upset.
Yeah, he didn't know that you had to schmooze to a certain extent, too. And so he was a very good teacher, dedicated, but he didn't know the system. So, anyway, yeah.
He wanted every Saturday and Sunday help a student
Yeah,
out.
very, yeah.
But he said didn't socialize with the dean of that department. So the dean never know he working so hard over there. Only the other guys every day is talking to the boss of it. That guy got promoted,
Well,
not
if you
him.
think about it, my father, who was an immigrant, to get a professorship at UCLA was pretty astounding to begin with. But what I was going to say was, at the same time, the company my mother was working for moved to Houston, and my father came and got a great job here at the same time. So it all worked out well.
So just going back a little bit, do you remember the first day you arrived in Tulsa?
Tulsa, Oklahoma, that the year 1961.
Do you remember the day?
What was it like? Were you surprised? Was it
That was because my husband got the degree and got the new job at the Signal.
Yeah. If I may ask her, so what they want to know is, when we first got here, after we got here, how did you feel when you first got here? You know, I remember, I mean, I'm not being interviewed, but I just remember being a 6-year-old thinking we were on a big adventure, a big vacation. After 3 months, I missed my best friend, and I would cry every night because I didn't know what was happening. But as the mother, you knew we were moving here. So they want to know, how did you feel after we got here? How did you feel?
Oh, when we moved from
After,
Taiwan to
yeah,
United
after, yeah.
States.
When you first got to Tulsa and United States, how did you feel?
That I don't know what you mean, how I feel. I'm so glad to come to United States. So, but because my English is very, so all I can do is write, I want to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, hold my hand, because all the English learned during the high school, I was counting the basketball of other people.
Did you after you moved to the United States, did you miss China or Taiwan?
Actually, yes. Because even in Taiwan for 11 years, I was a high school teacher for all the time. Actually, that was my job over there too. But come to United States, of course, there's a completely different
Became a housewife.
world for me.
Was there anything that surprised you about America?
Well, not really, because that, of course, is different the way we were living in Taiwan. Okay, that's different. But you come to the new place, and actually, we were lucky. We were living in Tulsa,
We were lucky,
Oklahoma. The
yeah.
neighbor is
People were
very
very
nice.
nice to us. They were really reaching out to help us get acclimated.
For the 3 kids coming back to school across the street, the neighbor, they always carry my children to the school.
Wow.
Very nicely.
Well, Carrie, no.
They gave them the ride, I mean.
Well, I don't remember that.
Right, right.
Yeah. But we're because Tulsa was a very homogeneous. I mean, we were in the newspaper. A Chinese family moves to town. I was trying to find the article for this today. We were so like exotic. This is how unusual it was. And so I didn't have it in English, but there's a picture of me with a painting, and it said Chu, an engineer, blah blah blah. Anyway, it described each of us. And by the time it got to me, I was a friendly first grader because I couldn't talk, but I could draw. So anyway, but my brother was 12. Poor guy, he started 7th grade, which is hard enough, with no English, no cultural. He was just thrown into. My sister was in 5th grade and she was 10, so I had it the easiest. But we were just plopped in the middle of totally strange land. So anyway, so I don't want to hijack your interview, but it's sort of, she probably was all she could do to keep us going day to day.
Mm-hmm.
So she probably has no memory of the, except I remember people came by our house to try to proselytize their church. A lot of church people. Like, oh, knock, knock, knock. Oh, no, don't answer the door. They were trying to convert us.
I'm Buddhist.
So we
Save
went
them the trouble. I saw the people coming. I know they are trying to convince me to become
Christian,
something.
some kind of Christian.
So I first I'm Buddhist. So
Yeah.
save them the breath.
Yeah.
Are you Buddhist?
No.
Okay.
She's not.
That's what my mom does.
Oh, is she?
No, actually, the hardest year is the first year when I was in the United States. I have to learn how to do everything.
Cook.
Cooking and ironing and anyway, in the meantime, I was taking the class at the Tulsa University
Right.
and try to get some master degree or something. So they were teaching me this because I was so busy. So I almost put both of my shoes inside the icebox. I said, that's exactly. I hold my hose, just wanted, because they are waiting for me to cook something. So when I wear the shoes, just walk straight to the refrigerator to see what I do. They said I put the shoes inside the just make fun.
Yeah, actually that was, I think, later when we moved to Los Angeles and you started your job at Signal Oil, because
Right,
she was working downtown Los Angeles. So, yeah.
When did you move to Los Angeles?
1965.
When my father,
When my father, yeah.
her
was
father
65.
wanted to become the
Right.
professor instead
Right.
of
amazing
as an engineer.
accomplishment,
Right.
considering he's an immigrant, only been here for a few years, and but we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. I remember driving in on I-10, heading into LA, and this wall of smog, this brown wall in the air, and I thought, we're going to go live in there? It's like shocking. And then the other thing was, my father, he was driving 40 miles an hour on the freeways, and we got pulled over police for driving too slowly. He
was in the fastest lane, driving
40
slow,
miles an hour, and the police
slowest
stopped him.
speed.
He said, "You
So
got
the
to drive
policeman
faster."
came.
Did you like living in California more, or did you like Oklahoma more?
Tulsa, Oklahoma is kind of a small city.
Right.
Los Angeles is a big city. That's the difference.
Did you like it differently?
Oh, that I don't really know.
Well,
What's the question about?
so like in Los Angeles, obviously there's a Chinatown, so we were able to get Chinese food. You know, we could go to the Chinatown and get the kinds of food that she likes. That, as opposed to what we did in Tulsa. I think I wrote that she made her own tofu. I mean, you didn't have to make your own tofu in Los Angeles. So there were more Chinese things going on. So
Oh, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we only two Chinese family. One is us, The other one is Yuan
Oh,
Qiwan.
yeah, no.
The other Chinese.
Yeah.
He claimed his father has $70,000 in such a bank or something. Actually, he was living on people, donated the food
Oh.
to them. But he claimed, my father has so much money in that bank, actually. Yeah. So at that time, only 2 Chinese family in there. One is us, one is that person claimed his father has so much money.
By some religious group. to-
Then actually, that family, so much food, like we always buy the food for them, like vegetables or meat or something
Yeah,
to
they-
help them
yeah, it
out.
was different
Otherwise,
situation.
they are very tight of money. Actually, in Tulsa, that's the only 2 Chinese family.
Right, right. So
One
then,
is
yeah,
the other one
Yeah.
that's kind of
But-
claims Yuan Qiwan.
Yeah.
He said
She
that
gave
his
him a
family
nickname.
is
Yuan was the
70,000.
last name. Qi Wan is a unit
Oh.
in Chinese, which is 10,000. So she gave him the nickname Yuan 70,000.
So
because that's
he
not really his
claimed
name.
he has- that's
Yeah.
I gave him a
She
nickname.
gave him the nickname. Yeah. So
Called him Yuan Qiwan because
But we
he
had-
claimed.
it was good when we moved to Los Angeles. There were several other Chinese families that were from the same university connection or from the oil refinery, and we would take turns having like potluck at different people's houses. So we grew up. So once we moved to Los Angeles, we had a much bigger Chinese community where we felt we had friends. So that was much better, where we were part of something as opposed to be alone.
I think so. That's what we were trying to get at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
going.
I need help
Oh.
to open
Oh
it.
yes.
Now for the gripping something, it's very hard.
So speaking of food, how did you feel about American food? At first, at least.
Let me say one thing. I didn't learn any American food, how to make American food. I'm still doing my Chinese way.
Do you remember the only American dish she ever made was, I think I was 15 at the time. One day we came home on a Saturday. I was so surprised. She made us a BLT sandwich. That's the only American thing she
That's
ever
the
made.
only time.
I was so surprised. Really? You made a BLT? I just remember that we didn't understand the concept of salads because Chinese is always cooked. So we would go, ew, especially in those days, only iceberg lettuce, which tastes like aluminum. And then we didn't understand the concept of dressings, so we didn't touch that. We would just eat the salad going, why are Americans eating this? It tastes terrible. So we didn't understand that at all. It took years to figure out, what it was supposed to be. So that was...
Remember when we first to Tulsa,
Yeah.
Oklahoma,
Yeah.
that the guy treated us with a steak.
Oh, I don't remember.
Remember?
No.
But you 3 children, they don't like the steak.
We probably didn't know how to use a fork and knife either. That's why we couldn't eat it.
Yeah,
Because we didn't know how to
very
use
nice
it. Yeah.
steak. And the 3 children, they don't know.
Yeah, it's like in
like
Chinese
to
food,
eat
everything's
it.
already pre-cut, right? Asian food.
Very nice.
But when you go to
Very nice
American
one.
food, it's like, what am I supposed to do with this chunk of meat, so it's
They
very,
don't.
yeah.
They don't know. They don't like to eat it
Yeah, 'cause
either.
we didn't know what
but
it was.
actually,
Yeah.
that's a very expensive
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, at that time, only 2 Chinese family.
Yeah,
One
right.
is that one
Right,
is
yeah.
that Yuan Qiwan.
Yeah.
But the other thing was in
Clay.
Tulsa that we had actually in Bartlesville, which is 50 miles away from Tulsa, our best friends from Taiwan moved there because there was, the father there worked for Phillips Oil and in Bartlesville. So we would, every weekend they would come to us or we'd go to them, 50
Right,
miles each
right.
way. So we had our friends also to help us. And we got to the United States first, so we were able to help them acclimate and to understand American culture. And so we stayed very good friends. She talks to Huang Ai every
Uh-huh.
week. Yeah.
Oh.
You ended up getting a job in California, though. When you went to Los Angeles, you worked for Signal Oil.
Yeah.
How How difficult was that? Was it hard to get a job in California?
Oh, I don't think I have difficulty to get the job at that time. And it was because my husband was teaching the night classes, and there is a student worked for this company. That's what my husband asked him, and I was the computer programmer from 1967, I think. So, because he was teaching the night class, and one of the manager was in his class. That's why he asked him.
Oh, who was that?
Huh?
I didn't know this story.
Bob Van Til.
Bob Von Teal? Okay,
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
At that
Okay,
time,
Von Teal, yeah.
he was
The manager,
the night class student
I
of
see,
your father.
Oh, I see,
Then
okay. I didn't know
Your
that.
father talked to him.
Ah, yeah.
Then, because at that time I was
Yeah.
in the computer school or something.
So he learned to network. He learned some networking. Yeah.
But you went from you stayed at home, and then in California you decided to work again.
Yeah. Yes.
Why did you decide to go back to work?
Oh, at the first I was, let's see, at that time I tried to get my master's degree when we were in Tulsa, so I already took 4 class, 3 or 4, almost got the master's degree.
Yeah.
But my husband was changing from working for Signal Oil Company, tried to be professor for UCLA.
Yeah, Sinclair, yeah, he was
Yeah.
working for Sinclair, yeah.
Yeah. Then he said that he promised only 3 years. Actually, he worked more than
Yeah.
3 or 4 years. Until one day he
7,
was,
yeah, 6 years, 7 years, yeah.
yeah, because after 4 years you are supposed to be
Yeah.
kind of get some
think-
kind of thing.
Yeah, if I may say, my mother loved working. She has no hobbies or interests. So when you say, why did you want to go back to work? She was never meant to be a housewife. She was always meant to be some kind of professional. I think that was her,
Well,
just
at that
innately,
time,
she just
I
wanted to
was
work.
still
Yeah.
taking classes
Yeah, she's-
to
yeah, the
get a
drive.
master's degree.
Yeah.
But I haven't, because my husband want to change it, become professor instead of work with a Signal,
No, Sinclair.
Sinclair. Yeah. So anyway, my plan wasn't completed before I
So she
can
couldn't
do
finish
it.
her master's because of the move.
So, but anyway, then I went to the computer school or something, and learned a punch card or something, and at that time become the computer programmer. Since then, then at the last I was using Oracle language or something, doing the database business.
Yeah. She came to Boston one time to go to the Oracle, and she also learned how to work with laptops when they first came out. She was helping people with their laptops. So she went from the old machines with Fortran and punch
Yeah,
cards
that's begin
up
with.
to this
Beginning
point.
with.
She only
I was
retired when she was
working.
75 because my father had Parkinson's. Otherwise, she would have kept on working.
Yeah,
So,
you know that the guy said, if you can do this, I will hire you. That the guy, then after he let me do something,
Yeah.
and then I create a website, a web page, right over there. So he hired me. So at that time I began to become the computer programmer.
Did you like computer programming?
Oh yeah, I was whole my life as a computer programmer. Whole my life.
You also did programming for MD Anderson.
Oh, at that time, yes, because I was for the children's section. Oh, look at all the children so young died off. So finally, I can't take it anymore. So I quit from that job to do something else in other places because for all the children got cancer and died of it, looking at those programs, it's really very, emotionally it's very, very hard. So only a year, then I quit that job doing something else because the other company, the other guy, asked me so many times, why don't you come work for me? Why don't you come work for me? So finally, because the head in charge of this section changed the new guy, that the new guy I don't like him. So finally, okay, so I quit. I will go with you. So I go to the
Getty Oil?
Getty Oil, work as the program since then.
Did you go to MD Anderson because of Jia? Was that because at that time? So my sister,
Oh,
was that at that time or was that later?
that
Around then,
afterwards.
after my sister who was a
Afterwards.
doctor, she passed away from cancer at the age of 32.
That
But
afterwards.
I think that motivated her to go work in cancer for a while, but then she couldn't take it.
So
So-
I was working program for all the children. So
Yeah.
finally, I don't think I can
Yeah,
stay
my
there.
sister
That's
who
too
was chief resident when she died. She had
Yeah,
she
it's-
had a
that's
baby. She was
very
9 months old.
frustrating. Now also because the guy in charge of the section,
Yeah.
originally it's a very good guy,
Yeah.
and the other guy replaced him. I don't like him.
So that's when
Since
she said,
he
okay,
changed
enough.
to
So
become
she
the head,
went
then
to
I
Getty
quit.
Oil, which is where my father was. Yeah.
Then
So
because
my
the other
sister
guy
was,
also, why don't you come work
Phi
for
Beta
me?
Kappa
So at that
Chemistry,
time, okay, I
UCLA,
come work
medical
with
school at
you.
Baylor. She was in pathology and she was chief resident. She had major reconstructive surgery. It was a tongue and jaw. She went back to work. She was very good at organizing people as chief resident. And then her back started hurting her and was metastasized. So that's part of the reason she worked at MD Anderson for a while. But then she left. But that was, yeah. So anyway, but that's the story of the MD Anderson part. Yeah.
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 Also because the good guy left,
Yeah,
the
right.
other guy, I don't like him, so I quit.
And
Promise
Getty
that the
Oil
Getty-
really loved her. They just thought the world of her.
Yeah.
So
He
they-
said, why don't you come work for me?
Yeah.
At that time, I liked that job because that the person in charge of it, I like.
Yeah.
And then later on, changed to the other person, I don't like
Yeah,
him.
right,
So,
right. But
okay,
then-
I
but
will
then,
go.
Yeah. So then she and my father both worked at Getty Oil, and
Yeah.
they were both really appreciated and really revered there for both of them. And my father was a Texaco Fellow, which is the highest honor you can get.
Wow.
Yeah, got the
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
plaque.
Yeah, he was, anyway. And then, just as an aside, my father, when he was a professor, he wrote the handbook on chemical engineering, the chapter on thermodynamics, which is like the Bible of.
Right.
He wrote that chapter.
Wow.
So that's.
Her father was really very brilliant.
Didn't talk to you during your dates, but he was very brilliant.
Yeah.
And just as another aside, my father was also an artist. He always liked painting.
Well,
Yeah, so he said when he finally retired, he said, "Now I'm going to really prove I'm an artist."
Yeah. Yeah.
So one final question about career.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you feel was your greatest accomplishment during your career?
what an accomplishment. I don't know. I accomplished anything.
Of course, you must have accomplished.
I'm just the computer programmer, learn all different kind of language. When I was 70, I still learn new computer language called Oracle. When I was 70, I still become a student and learn some new called Oracle
Yeah.
language. So my whole life is a computer program.
And always learning new things.
Yeah, and I learned how to use the database or something. And then actually when the company started web page, website, I was working with the company. I put at the beginning web page for the cigarette oil the gas company. I did that. So the whole my life is a computer programmer. From Fortran to Oracle.
What's your most favorite language?
Well, at the first, everybody is using Fortran, and then later on, anyway, the last, when I was 70, I learned that Oracle, new language, when I was 70, begin with. So actually that the company begin with a web page website, I started at that place.
So now I'm gonna move on to more personal questions. So right now, like after you've retired, what do you spend your free time doing?
The free time, good question. Let's see. I read the junk magazine. They call it the junk magazine. I read the newspaper, and that's all. Didn't do anything in adventure or something. Just kind of read the newspapers every day.
Do you still write down definitions?
Uh-huh.
Do you still look up words in the dictionary? Do you look up words?
Look, I always look for, I have a small dictionary, I have a big dictionary.
You have a pad of paper, right?
Huh?
You still do that. Your pad of paper. You look up words you don't know. You write down the definition. You still do that?
I still do that.
Yeah.
Still look up the new words.
Yeah.
I have a big dictionary. I have a Chinese, English Chinese dictionary. I have a completely English language. That's a big book to look to. If the Chinese dictionary doesn't really explain that, then I look at the big dictionary.
So did you ever go back to Taiwan or China?
Oh, that was when Peipei was that was 11 years ago.
Oh, I
We
don't
were all
remember.
went to Taiwan for Peipei's 30th birthday or something. We all went to Taiwan.
Yeah, I didn't go with you. I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
that was 11 years ago.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, yeah. She talks to her sister in Taiwan once a week still.
Yeah, my sister still living in Taiwan.
Okay. How was that visit? Do you had Taiwan changed a lot from how you remember?
Last time I went to Taiwan was 11 years ago. I don't remember.
Oh.
Nowadays, of course, they changed a lot.
And what does your sister do?
My sister is an artist.
Oh.
She is really good at drawing the pictures, and yeah, she is an artist. Let me just say that. She didn't do something else, just very easily. And I have really painting by her. I put on the frame of my home.
So does she do Chinese style paintings?
Yeah,
Oh.
she is doing that.
Had you ever been interested in art?
Me,
Yeah.
I don't have any art sale in my body. Not even one art sale in my body.
That is true.
But a lot of
That's a period.
So
I wanted to tell you something other than this.
okay.
Let's see. What was that? Oh, that time, 1 year, 100,000 young people, 100,000
Soldiers.
soldiers. Then I just signed up for the 10,000 soldiers or something. So later on, then I followed that 师长怎么说啊
I can't help you
I
there.
I follow 看的there is a name called 战地服务团，
Yeah,
就是
we already.
battleground service support people teaching the soldiers singing and play.
Put on plays.
Yeah,
Put on plays, yeah.
yeah, for them and teaching them
Right.
how to sing and writing the family letter for them. That's called 战地服务团。
Right, right.
So that was something I did.
So in your life, you worked a lot, but you were also a mother at the same time.
Yeah, yes.
Was that difficult for you?
Oh, not when you were young. It's no difficulty. Only when you're getting old, you cannot do whatever you want. You can only barely get by. That's it. That's why the people teasing me says, I brought my shoes to the icebox because I'm hurry up trying to prepare for the dinner for the family. So one hand holding my feet, my two shoes in front of the refrigerator to check out what can I do tonight to make dinner for them. Then they teasing me says, I put the shoes inside the icebox. That's just teasing me because you know.
She didn't really do it, no.
Yeah.
At that time at the first we only have one car, right? Then later on I bought only one car for me to drive, and then you will take a turn. Who is driving? Who pick up? Who something like that. And one day, so I have my own car, and they will have arrange it. Who is going to pick
Yeah,
a home?
yeah.
Like take turns, something like that.
But you used to take the bus downtown when we lived in the apartment in West LA. She used to take the bus downtown and the bus home every day. Because back when we lived in the apartment, it was close to the bus line, and you could take the bus downtown. And during lunch hour, you would go shopping, and one day she brought home, I don't know, 20, 30 plates, because they were really on big sale.
Yeah.
We still have some of those plates from, remember the plates you bought from the sale at Robinson's or something, the department store.
I don't know. I
We
still have them.
We still have a lot of those dishes that,
I have a
because in
lot
her
of
lunch hour,
dishes.
she would go shopping.
And in your life, there have been 2 times that you were not with your husband. Was it ever difficult, like when you were in China and your husband was in Taiwan, being away from him? Was that difficult?
Because I was working all the time. Even my husband is, my husband was went to